Vellum is a card making product that is often overlooked when making cards with more popular items like stencils and dies. In this video, I am sharing 7 unique slimline and mini slimline cards made with the soft look of vellum as well as several vellum techniques. Hello and welcome to Karen's Creative Cards on YouTube. I am Karen Hashik and I've always liked the soft look vellum gives to my cards. My first few cards all show the soft, unique look of stenciling on vellum over stenciled backgrounds. Mini slimline cards are a fun style of cards I've been making more of recently. On my first example, I brushed pink ink through this Altenew slimline stencil onto the vellum, and then turquoise ink through this on white cardstock below the vellum. So it's a layered, very soft look. All the details on all the cards that I'm going to show you will be on my blog, and links are in the description box, as well as to many products featured. But I did want to mention that I got this awesome slimline stencil in my most recent subscription shipment from Artplorations, which is a division of Stamplorations. You can get 3 new slimline stencils for only $18. So 3 for $18 is a great bargain, and they have monthly, bi-monthly, and quarterly packages. And so I really look forward to that. I have the bi-monthly, so every other month I get a shipment of 3 new ones. You can pick out the ones you want, or you can just have them surprise you. So either way is fun. And I used 2 of my favorite ones, but this is a brand new one I got, overlapping leaves, on this card. So it's very easy to make the vellum over the white cardstock stenciling, and added a die and a sentiment. And on the inside I had some extra of that paper, so I just die cut a flower, and I have again the 2 layers on that. I created 2 slimline cards with a soft rainbow and a kitty and puppy for pet sympathy cards. The first one is of course a mini slimline, so you can see traditionally they're about 3 by 6, and again I did the rainbow underneath the vellum, and then the kitty and the stamping on the top of the vellum. And then here is a full slimline size one that I did with a puppy, and the beautiful sentiments that you see here are perfect, and those are from Waffle Flower. So they have a gorgeous rainbow bridge stamp and actually die set, but I used the stamp set on these cards. So until you meet again at the rainbow bridge, heartfelt sympathy on the loss of your furry friend, which is just perfect. On these 2 cards I used some new stencils I have from a Colorful Life Designs, and this one is called Rainbow Pets, and then there is a layered rainbow bridge base, so it's very easy to separate your colors of the rainbow out using these stencils. And then here is another slimline card I made with some layering stencils that are like sun rays, and a new die that I just received. And again, all the details on these cards will be on my blog. This beautiful wedding card features a spotlight technique that is so easy to do, and a gorgeous bride stamp from the ton. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to achieve this look. So you're going to stamp an open stamp of some kind. In this case it was the bride on the vellum. So I've stamped it on the vellum, and then I've also stamped it on a piece of white cardstock, and I fussy cut it out. And in this case I added the flower stamps to that white piece that I fussy cut out. And then you're going to layer it so that the white piece is directly below the stamped one on the vellum, and you're going to attach it with some kind of temporary adhesive. I like my temporary tape that I use all the time when it needs to be, you know, easily removed. And then you're going to pick out some kind of pattern paper, depending of course on what type of stamp you used. I like these roses, and you're going to see it through the vellum, and then but the bride will be highlighted, and you'll be able to see that very easily. So once you have that lined up with a temporary adhesive, take a permanent adhesive of some kind. In this case I'm using my Gina dots roller, and I'm going to add a permanent adhesive here all over, and then I'm going to line it up on the paper. Now this paper in vellum is not cut out to an exact size yet, but nonetheless it is what I intend to use. And then that is now attached to the paper on the bottom where you want it. And I'm going to remove my temporary tape. And that's now placed exactly where you want it. And then you're going to align the vellum over that. And then I like to cut out my layered for slimlines using some type of stitched die. And I will do that. It adds a nice little touch. Stamp or put a die cut sentiment on there, and I'll have another beautiful card with that highlighting technique. And here are two more vellum cards I made. The first one is a trifold vellum card. So I have these beautiful Altenew roses on the front. Then I have another one underneath that is very soft because it's through the first layer of vellum. And when you open it up, you see that. And then when you open it up again, you see another sentiment. Now what I'm using for those sentiments and on the card that I'm going to show you are these clear stickers from Stamplorations, and this pack happens to be called Just Everyday Greetings. I have a link to that, especially on vellum and harder, you know, surfaces where it's a little more difficult to stamp. It is really an easy thing to do to add these stickers, and they're also see-through, so that's really cool on the vellum. So that's a trifold vellum card. And then on the second card, I made it a full-size slimline, and I stamped a hummingbird. I'm going to show you this technique. I don't know what it's called. I tried to look it up. It's from years ago, but it's where you stretch the vellum by basically coloring with a stylus from the back. And as I'll show you on the card I'm going to make, it's really most effective when you simply stamp with black ink and then do that technique from the back. But I decided I wanted this hummingbird. I have a layered hummingbird stamp set from Hero Arts, and it adds that beautiful color, and I decided I wanted a little color on it. I think I ended up just actually doing it in Copic from the back. I wanted my hummingbird to have some color, and it's really difficult to see, but that hummingbird is raised with great dimension, and then I added this beautiful die and a sentiment there, and then congrats is from Stamplorations for that sample. But I'm going to show you that technique and how easy it is to do, and I'm going to make a mini slimline card this time. I have stamped, this is an older Impression Obsession stamp set that I have just loved, and it has a hummingbird and a butterfly, and just great detail on those stamps. But it is still available. I have a link to it in the description box. I'm also going to make another rose with the Altenew Craft-A-Flower Antique Rose Layering Die Set. But first I'm going to show the technique. Now, mini slimline cards are generally 3 by 6. So I took a piece of vellum and I cut it 9 by 6, and I scored it 3 and 6, so 3 inches from both sides. And then I did trim just a little bit off of this one so it does lay nicely to have a trifold there. I added another one of those stickers from Stamploration there, and that part is ready to go. So what you need to do this technique, which is kind of like coloring the stamped image with a stylus, it actually stretches the vellum and raises it. You need a good stylus. I have mine from Tonic Studios. It has several sizes, but I'm going to use like a medium size here. And then you need some kind of foam rubber mat to do it on. And we're going to flip it over. And here's a trick that I learned years ago, and it really does make a difference. You take a piece of wax paper and you rub it all over the image that you want to move that stylus around. It just makes it move easier. Now you're also going to have to be very careful, because if you press too hard you will break through the vellum. And what we're going to basically do is color all of the clear areas there, not the black where it's stamped, but all the clear areas by just moving around with this stylus. So it will make it white and it will raise that area. So you can see, I hope already, that flower is raised and it's white now, and that's how easy it is to do this. So all the areas that are clear, not stamped, on this stamp, I am going to do that too. I kind of go in circular motions. I'm trying to be careful. You want to press firmly, but not so much that you tear through the vellum. And when you do this, you stretch the vellum, and it also raises it and makes it white. So it's really a very easy thing to do, but a really effective way to add dimension to a stamped image on vellum. You kind of follow the lines on the stamp. So it doesn't have to be circular, but if you're doing a larger area, I generally do. But I just want to make sure that all these parts here that aren't black on the image end up getting raised and white. Alright, so you see that they're white and they're also dimensional. I think I'll do a little more right in the main body area to raise that. You can work as long as you want on that, but it really doesn't take long. Just make sure that all the white areas or the clear areas have been raised. Isn't that a cool look? And it's very dimensional, hard to see on camera I'm sure, but those have been raised and stretched, and she, the hummingbird is now white. So I have also cut 2 pieces of white cardstock, 3 by 6, and they're going to go in the center pier. I received a beautiful card from my husband recently, and I decided to repurpose. There was a flower and a hummingbird on there. And normally I keep his cards, but they go in a drawer and I look at them later, and eventually they will be tossed. But I decided these were just too pretty to just put in a drawer, so I cut out another hummingbird from that. It's kind of like on a felt, and it was so pretty. And I am going to use some permanent tape to attach that to the center of the card. And you'll see that shadow under there of another hummingbird, which I thought was cool. Now on the back, it isn't real obvious, but you can see those lines of adhesive, so I just have another piece of the same size of white cardstock that I am going to put on the back. Makes it a little sturdier and also covers up that those adhesive lines there. Now we are going to make a Altenew rose using this beautiful Altenew antique layering die set. I already did some leaves, and I've cut out 3 different shades of pink with the different layering dies. And then I also have, this is number 4, I number mine. That's going to be in a glittery piece, but I'm going to leave them in there so I don't lose them. So the bigger one here, I think I can just use Dot's roller to attach. And they're very easy to line up, as you can see. So there is 1 and 2. This one I think I'm going to need glue on. And I have my favorite glue from Barely Art with a nice fine tip that I'm going to use. Get a little glue all over. And once again, we're going to line the bottom parts up, and then the top parts should go right where you want them. Now, the last piece, it shows you on here where you want to put all those pieces. I like to keep it in the die, so I do one at a time, so I know where I want to go with these, rather than make a pile and then forget, where did this one come from? I need my old tweezers here to pick these up. This one is going to go over here along the edge there. And this one is going to go along this line right here to line it up. So this line right there lines up with that part of the rose. And then we just have 3 little pieces. This one's going to be over on the right. And just adds a nice highlight, this last area, these last pieces. And then 2 more on the bottom. I like to add a little sparkle on my roses and my leaves by using a glitter paper on the last layer. And then this one's down here. Oh, come on, stick. So our beautiful rose is done, and I'm going to attach this here so you'll see it through the vellum on the second layer. Press it down lightly because I do want to put a couple leaves in there too. Figure that out. I don't think I'm going to use 3, but I did make all 3. You get 3 in the set. I'll slip one under there. And maybe one down here. So we have a trifold card that has a dimensional hummingbird on front. Hello, beautiful. And then a beautiful flower there. And then you open it up and you see another hummingbird. If these marks are too obvious, and they are a bit much, I probably would do another rose and place it on there and cover them up, or else find another way to cover them. But for now, our trifold card is complete. All of my vellum cards were fun and easy to make, and I love how they turned out. I hope my cards inspire you to give some of these ideas and products a try. Thanks for watching, sharing, and subscribing, and thanks too for helping me share the joy of creativity.